Today, we are talking all about covert narcissists and cheating. Why do they do it? And how in the world do they manage to successfully blame the other party for the entire affair when and if caught, to the point that we actually sometimes believe them? But first, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. Covert vulnerable narcissists are sneaky. Oftentimes, it's so much more difficult to discover and understand what and how a covert narcissist operates because overt narcissists are so bold and out in the open with their entitlement and superiority issues. Coverts don't publicize their desires. They are very careful about managing their public persona. They are very much concerned about their reputation and usually want to give the impression that they are a good, moral, and decent human being. However, at the heart of who they are as a human being are this same, whether a covert or an overt narcissist. So although their strategies may look very different and their reasoning may be confusing, they both truly think and feel the same way. When you are trying to figure out things that a covert narcissist does, it's best to define the things that we know are true about narcissists in general, because the coverts are so manipulative, secretive, and careful about hiding who they actually are. Sometimes it's important and necessary to lay out the facts about narcissists and then connect the dots with how the covert's behaviors match up with these core traits and why and how they can so easily manipulate us into thinking differently. So what do we know to be true about all narcissists? First, and the most important thing in the world to them is obtaining narcissistic supply. They believe they are special and deserving to be treated as such. They are entitled. They lack empathy and they are exploitative. The 3 E's: entitled, lack empathy, exploitative. The 3 E's are the triple E. Now, while an overt narcissist will be out in the open with these behaviors, a covert will not be. This is why you will always hear me saying that you can never, ever trust a narcissist's words, whether overt or covert. You can and should only judge them on patterns of behavior. Because what else do we know about narcissists? They are pathological liars. If you are listening to their words and wondering why you are confused, this is why. Nothing that comes out of their mouths should be viewed as even an option for where to obtain truth and honesty. Beyond just the blatant lying, they also gaslight, blame shift, project, deflect, and so many other psychologically abusive tactics. So my very first tip here is if you are ever to understand anything that is factual, honest, or truthful, when it comes to a narcissist, you must only make your judgments based on patterns of behavior. The narcissist's words mean absolutely nothing and are usually flat out lies or psychological manipulations. You cannot ever trust what they tell you. So many times people who have had long-term relationships with a covert narcissist don't realize the extent of their behaviors because they are so sneaky and so proficient at covering their tracks with this holier than thou, good person, good citizen, and many times good Christian crap. But their facade is very well crafted. They seem to walk the walk, seem being the operative word. They seem to be a lot of things that they actually are not. You must remember that a narcissist's biggest fear is exposure, and that goes double for the covert narcissist. So covert narcissists will go out of their way to give off the impression that they are good people. So why do covert narcissists cheat? Because they believe they are entitled to do so. Because they lack empathy for who they are cheating on and what it will do to that person is little to non-existent. and because they are exploitative, the 3 E's. So when given the opportunity to take advantage of a situation where they believe they can get some action on the side, why not exploit that person, the mistress and the partner? Remember, they believe they are special, and coverts particularly believe that they are special, but so underappreciated, valued, and acknowledged for their uniqueness. They feel slighted by life. They feel they are owed so much more than they were ever given. They feel as though they have been victimized and no one has ever given them their due. So when another woman or man comes into the picture, this feeds their need for narcissistic supply like no one's business. It's first and foremost all about narcissistic supply. If they have been married and playing by the rules for a long period of time, and something presents itself that validates these beliefs of superiority that no one acknowledges enough in their mind, and they believe that they can get away with it, then chances are nearly 100% they are going to do it without so much as a second thought. They gain fuel from the triangulation between the partner and the mistress or other person also. That is tons of narcissistic supply to them. They are so consumed by the need for supply, the beliefs that they are special and so underappreciated for this specialness, that when an opportunity arises, they're going to jump on it, unfortunately. And they can do it easily because they don't feel empathy and they believe they are entitled to do so. So now let's talk about how so many covert narcissists convince their partner or spouse that their cheating is completely the other person's fault. They have this fascinating ability to manipulate, blame shift, and guilt trip other people. That is truly the covert narcissist specialty, in my opinion. So the wife, let's say, catches her husband, let's say of 20 years of having an affair. And the covert narcissist puts blame completely on the mistress for this affair, to the extent that the wife believes it. How do they do this? Well, first of all, remember, the covert narcissist fears exposure. They deeply care about their reputation and maintaining a facade of being a good, moral, decent human being. They definitely do not want to take the fall for what they have done. They don't want to be exposed for who they truly are. So it makes sense they would throw all of the accountability onto the other person. And because they have maintained this good person facade so well to everyone, usually, including us, it's very easy to fall into the trap that it isn't their fault. That isn't their true character. That's this other person must have done something terrible to be able to have convinced him or her to cheat. The narcissist is looking head on at losing a primary source of narcissistic supply, you, and being exposed for who they truly are. So, of course, they're going to lie. They are going to manipulate your perception of them for their benefit. The last thing they want to do is lose you, be exposed, and have to take accountability for their horrible behaviors. The truth isn't in these people. They lie about things that don't even matter. So you can bet they will lie their heads off when this much is on the table for them to lose. Also, you should be aware that they will many times manipulate your empathetic qualities in all of this too, in order to further confuse you and in effect make you feel guilty or even somewhat accountable for their transgressions. I have seen that happen time and time again. A narcissist will cheat and the partner will find out, and by the time it's all said and done, the victim has taken the accountability for the affair. That is how good these people are. And they'll say all types of things in order to get us to do that. Well, you didn't make me feel loved the way I need. You weren't giving me enough attention or sex. Therefore, it's your fault. Or they might say things like, I can't believe that you would actually think this is my fault. You know what kind of person I truly am. You know I would have never done something like this unless she, meaning the other woman, tricked and manipulated me. They play so dirty on our core personality traits, our empathy, compassion, generosity, kindness, and our naivete. They know that we don't think like they do. They know we are looking for answers beyond what is just the simple truth, which is that they are selfish and entitled, and they did it because they could, and they don't care how it affects anyone else. They only care that they got caught. But they also know that this is a foreign concept to people like us. They know that we would have a terrible time comprehending that people actually think like that, not to mention our own husband or wife. They know how to manipulate us better than we ever give them credit for. The other part about how do they get us to actually believe this crap is probably the biggest one, because we desperately want to believe the lie. Deep down, somewhere deep down in our gut, we know the truth, but we just don't want to believe it. We actually really do love the narcissist, and we could not imagine doing to them what they have done to us. Believing the lie that it's this other person's fault keeps us from having to deal with the reality and the inevitable cognitive dissonance that we are likely to be experiencing with the knowledge that they have cheated. Cognitive dissonance is a stressful and very uncomfortable state of mind that the mind and body do not enjoy. So we are wanting desperately to reconcile those thoughts, and believing his or her lies are the easiest route to relieve it. Also, don't forget, you are in a trauma-bonded relationship. This isn't a normal love relationship. So that is another huge factor to take into account when trying to comprehend how this happened. You have a physiological addiction to this person. Trauma bonds are like drug addictions, and when you are confronted with infidelity, your cognitive dissonance and trauma bond kick into high gear to save and solve, many times subconsciously. All of these things are factors. So when trying to understand how they were able to actually convince us of this version of reality, it is because of their manipulations as well as our own desire not to accept the truth. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.